started, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time. So we're doing something different in FarmFit training where we're doing these video testimonials from clients. So I really appreciate you hopping on the phone with me today and just sharing your story. So my first question is, I would love for everybody to get to know who you are. So if you could give us just a little bit background about who you are and how you got started with FarmFit training.
Sure. Well, thank you for asking me. I'm very honored. I have loved the last almost 2 years that I've been with FarmFit training. So, like Amanda said, my name is Emily Gernand. I am from East Central Illinois and have been married to my husband, Andy, for coming up on 19 years this summer. He is a fourth generation farmer and we pretty much crop farmer. So corn and soybeans. We do grow a lot of white corn for Frito-Lay. So Fritos, Doritos, all that stuff. We have 3 kids. Our daughter Macy is 16. She'll be 17 in just a couple of months. So we're starting all of like the college visits and all that stuff, which is just crazy and mind blowing to me. So, and then we have 2 boys who are 13 and 14. So very close in age, very busy, constantly running between practices, track meets and dance competitions and all of the things. So we're kind of in the midst of all the chaos. So personally, I am a teacher. I focus on special education, working with kids who are deaf and hard of hearing. So I work with a special education cooperative and I travel around our local county schools and work with kids that have hearing loss. So I love it. I was fortunate to have, I think, 8 years off to be home with my kids and then got back into it. It's been probably 6 years ago that I got into it, 6 or 7 years ago. So I love it. It keeps me busy. But yeah, I don't know what I would do if I wasn't busy. If I'm not busy, I feel like I'm missing something. So I did start FarmFit training. I want to say January of 22, you did a New Year, New Me challenge. And it was like a 6-week kind of introduction to everything. And then in March of 2022, I signed on to do the one-on-one coaching and I did the beginner phase, the advanced phase, and I have been lucky enough to meet some amazing people and be a legacy member ever since. So that's me.
I love it too. You guys are super close. Like there's a group of you guys that talk all the time. Yeah. So I love the fact that you guys have built such a connection. I mean, everybody picks on everybody. It seems like in a good way.
It's so fun. So, and what's actually like a little bit of, I know I've said this before on different things, their posts and stuff, but Coach Tracy and I actually live very close to each other. We go to church together. Our husbands went to high school together. So she was kind of the one that like first introduced me to the program years ago when she had amazing success and everything. So yeah, Tracy, I know personally, but yeah, there's so many people, Brandon and Renee and Sarah Berger and people that I haven't even met that you feel like you've known just for forever. So, and I did get to meet some at the Farm Progress show this year in Decatur. So I got to meet you in person.
It's funny. It was like a reunion and everybody knew each other, even though it was the first time we met each other. But it was like, oh, I know this person. Oh my gosh.
It was so crazy, but it was awesome. So I know. I love it. It's a very close-knit tribe and one that I'm so lucky to be a part of.
And you just shared in the master group chat. I love that you shared about your traveling and vacation and able to go on the go and take the doorbell with you. You took the doorbell. Awesome.
I did.
It's such a, like, everybody always asks me about it when I take it with me. They're like, what is that?
I know. Even we traveled with another family and the guy, he goes, what the hell are you doing? Like he didn't even know what it was. I was like, this is what I'm going to work out with. And I didn't necessarily have to go down to the gym in the condo that we were staying at, but I just felt more comfortable down there and was able to do a little cardio after I finished. But yeah, some of the looks I got, but I was excited. I did not ever get to do the John Deere doorbell training program before. So I'm glad you brought it back. So you suckered me in.
I know. I love that thing. And that's the thing, like with FarmFit training, we really talk about lifestyle changes. We talk about how, when it comes to fitness, nutrition, mental health, like that needs to be something like every day. Like it feels natural. It doesn't need to be forced. And so I would love for you to go into more like your journey with us. You've had a lot of huge, massive wins. Like you just said, you travel all over. And so I remember when you were one-on-one coaching, that was one of the things we worked with you is how to get stuff like, especially meals on the go that are nutritious, dense, and easy for you. and you do a great job feeding your farm as well. And so I was wondering if you could go into a little bit more detail about that.
So feeding the farmers, we do have several guys that work for us and we have a lot of ground to cover. So planting is busy, harvest is probably busier. And I am fortunate that I do have help from my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law when it comes to feeding the slew of guys that we have employed. So, but one of the most amazing things is I'm a huge planner. I'm a huge prepper. That helps me so much stay on track. And through the individual one-on-one coaching, we were given access to an app called Dashing Dish, and being able to look at those meals, adjust how many I need to make, because like a lot of them, one of our favorites, for example, is Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes. I made them for my family and my husband ate it and he goes, this would even be really good in the field. And I was like, noted, consider it done. So I've made the Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes from Dashing Dish for our farmers for a long time. And it's so easy to adjust how much you want to cook. So I think it's like 6 servings. You would use a pound of ground beef. You want to up the protein. Amanda said just double that ground beef or ground turkey or whatever you want to use. But then if I have to feed, let's say 9 guys, then I can just adjust the serving size and it automatically adjusts all the ratios of the ingredients that I need. And it's so amazing. So using that website has been huge. And then just through the FarmFit training and through talking to a lot of the people, recipes are shared all the time. And because there's so many different people from so many different areas from Canada and all across the country, we all have different needs and different ideas. And being able to just take that and modify that for what works for me and for my guys. So like I said, those Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes, I make all the time. I can make them ahead. So if I don't have to feed the guys till Tuesday, but Sunday afternoon I'm free, I will make a massive batch of it and save it. And I'm like ready to go in the field to feed the 9 or 10 guys that I have to feed that night. So Dashing Dish has been huge. It's been so helpful. And I love so many of the skinny lasagna. I said the sloppy joes. There's an enchilada recipe. There's breakfast cups that are easy grab and go. Love that. After the training was done and I had to start paying for it, I paid for it because I love it
I love
so
Katie.
much.
I love Katie. She just created an amazing app that coupled
Yeah.
along with our program. And and that's the biggest thing when it comes to nutrition. A lot of people overcomplicate it. It's like, how do I feed myself and everybody else on the farm and still hit my goals to feel my body right, but be able to cook one meal for all of us? And that's something that we really educate in. It's not like you're making yourself one meal and then you have to make everybody else something different. And that's where that sustainability comes into play. It's like, okay, I'm not going to make a ton of different meals for these guys in the field. I'm going to make one meal that's
Times.
work for everyone. And that's completely where we take great pride in that education component, that science and understanding how to feel your body. And so I would love to go have you talk about, like, prior to joining FarmFit Training, what was one of your reasons for wanting to jump into a fitness transformation in the first place? Like, what was that driving force for you where you're like, what I'm doing is not working and I need to connect it into more like-minded individuals, for example? Could you expand on that a little bit of like, hey, this was my turning point and this is why I applied, and even talk about, like, when you mentioned FarmFit Training to Andy, like, was there any kickback? Like, was he like, what is this? Like, could you go into more detail?
For sure. So, like I said, Coach Tracy Johnson actually introduced me to it, and she had such amazing success. And what it did for not only her physical, but her mental health was hugely inspiring. So, I wanted to check into it, and doing the 6-week New Year, New Me program, not an issue. It's funny that you mentioned Andy because when I interviewed for the one-on-one coaching, I had no idea, what it was going to entail, what it was going to, like, financially or the time and all of those things. And he actually sat in on the interview with me.
Oh,
So he sat
right.
there and it's funny because I realized how low my self-esteem was, how much I second guessed myself. And I also realized how supportive he was in the process because when it came time to make that decision of, like, leaping and taking the chance on one-on-one training, I looked at him and he goes, do it. Like, he had I had reservations and he was like, do it. And I think he will tell you it's been an amazing thing as well for me and for my self-confidence. And like I said, getting to talk to people who are so like-minded, who are in the ag industry, who are working on their fitness, but it's not just a physical fitness, it's the mental, it's the emotional. And I know, you ask all of us to do wise statements and then reflect on that after we're done with stuff with the one-on-one training. And it is so like, I just think back to where I started to where I am now. And like, one of the things that I always say is, people say like, oh, you're one in a million or whatever. No, you're one of one. Like you are it. You are you. And that is it. And I think I've learned so much that like, it's okay to, love yourself and love who you are and love and like the person that you are, but still want to improve. Like that, those things can coexist together. And, my body image, my self image for years, I mean, since I was a teenager, was not always the best. And, there are still days where I struggle with some of it, but knowing that I have the support system, knowing that it's okay to be proud of myself and to be proud of what I've done and what I'm doing and still trying to improve, like it's a forever thing. And consistency is huge, not just with the workouts and the meal planning, but just making sure you take that time to like for you, I mean, for your mental health and build those relationships with those people. Like it's been such a positive thing for me. And I don't think I'll ever be able to fully say like, yeah, this is where I'm where I want to be, because I think we're always constantly working and changing. But it's one of those things where like, if you set a goal of like, I want to lose 20 pounds by summer, like, okay, you lose 20 pounds, then what? That, then is that going to fix everything? So I just think being in a community like this has done so much for, yes, my physical health, but my mental health, my emotional health, my self-esteem. Like I said, Andy was the one that told me to take the leap, and he will tell you like, I'm a different person than where I was when I started. So
We're still going to join us at some point. Maybe.
I know, right? We keep harping on him. So he eats the food. I mean, he's got buddy right here, but yeah, maybe one of these days we'll see. We'll see if he'll get the workouts in. So that's the part that I love. I mean, I love the workouts. So, but I also love, and I commented on this in the master chat of, going on vacation and like living your life. This is not something that is like, oh, you do it for 6 weeks or you do it for 12 weeks or whatever. And then poof, you're done. Like it is constant. It is ongoing. And being able to go on vacation with my family. And, I said this, I don't know if I hit my protein goal because I didn't track it, but I also I know enough now to prioritize that without even trying, kind of a thing, So do I know how many grams of protein I ate in a day? Do I know that I probably drank too many beers? Yep. But you know what? I did it and I loved it, and I'm back home and doing what I need to do and tracking again. So just having those tools and that support system is amazing, because you know what to do. And I don't beat myself up anymore. I don't think it has to be an all or nothing type of thing. So it has to be sustainable. It has to be, consistent, and you have to have that support. So yeah, that's been huge for me. It's huge.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. A lot of time when people join a fitness program, they think it has to be perfect, and you have to hit everything right out the gate. And that's what we really educate that mental health component side of things is like, hey, this is a journey. Like this is an adventure for yourself. And we're not necessarily rediscovering who we are, but we're lighting that fire with ourselves and figuring out that path that works for us, where it's sustainable and it's something that you're excited to be a part of. And it definitely shines through you. It's like, the biggest thing here is we want everybody to come into this and be like, hey, this is something that I can keep working towards, keep filling my cup, keep diving into. You're leading the example for your the whole farm as well. You're healthier meals for the guys in the fields. You're still crushing your career in making food for you on the go, and you're going on vacation and enjoying life.
Yep. Absolutely.
We join a program and we're like, all of a sudden we feel like we can't enjoy life. And that's not the right program. Like they're not teaching correctly. And I love the fact that you brought up the why statement. That's something that we really educate on, because we are certified mental health coaches here. And so we really tap into that mental health side of things, because you can't work on your physical transformation without impacting your mental transformation. Like the interconnection between the two is so profound. And so I love everything you just said. And, and that's the biggest thing is why I wanted to get on this video testimonial with you is because you're such a great example of that. Like, you are a busy freaking mom. Busy. Like, I
Yeah.
feel some days like we're all over the place. And I'm like, oh, she's on vacation. she's
Yeah.
doing this and crushing it. And so that's the thing too, is like, yeah, we're gonna have setbacks and there's gonna be days where we don't want to show up for those workouts. But at the end of the day, when we show up and we do the work, it really transforms into or transport folds into other aspects of our lives as well. And so the last question I have, and I always love asking this one, and I'm really curious to see how this is. Yeah, how has joining FarmFit training impacted your day to day on the farm? And what I'm looking here is like, how has joining the FarmFit training impacted you and your family?
I would say, I mean, does it sound cliche to say, happy wife, happy life? Like the whole dynamic of my family has changed because I'm happier and I'm better. And I think, planning and taking time every morning. I'm a morning workout girl. I have to get up first thing and work out in the morning. Otherwise, I'm maybe not the nicest person. I get frustrated when I'm not, like when that doesn't happen, unless it's planned. But like my mental health and my outlook on things has changed so much. And I think that has influenced, my husband and my family. And, I I just I see a lot of people who work on the farm who get very, very stressed and they get very overwhelmed. And it's like they don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to do and how to manage that in a good way.